establishing a relation among the or between the value sets within the, I mean, with respect to the specific segment values. Okay, so this related value security concept was not there in the EBS times, and it is being introduced in the Fusion recently. I think even this was also not there in the early Fusion releases, but it was added lately, right? Okay, so what is the use of this one? So it is basically, it works similar to CVR. Basically we cannot we cannot name it as an, even if it is similar to CVR, it is the combination of both basically. Okay, so what is that combination is, in case of security rule, when security rule is being defined, the value itself will not be visible to that specific user, not all users, right? Whereas in case of CVR, the values visible, but when the user tries to select an restricted code combination, it gives an error message, right? So related on the similar lines, related value security concept also works in similar to these lines, but is the combination of both, where once you establish the relationship between the value sets and the segment values, right? The values are not going to be visible to that user itself. Okay, so it is not based on the user. It's for all users. This is applicable for all users, but the values will be visible only based on the relationship that you establish. Okay, so the major, again, it is to restrict the unwanted code combinations by way of establishing a relationship between the value sets and its segment values. But the related value security is going to have an advantage over CVR in the form of limiting the values, right? So when the, what happens when, let's say you have the CVR, what we defined, what was the CVR we have defined? We have defined for the, if I'm not wrong, we have defined for the product line to natural account, right? Right. So these combinations were available in the, I mean, these accounts were available for the user to select, but when, as and when they select, what happens? Application tries to create that code combination, right? So while creating the code combination, it checks whether the code combination is already exist. Then it pick up that value and it creates a code. It displays on the screen, but also it checks whether there are any security rules. I mean, any CVRs are defined saying that this code combination shouldn't be used, right? If it falls under that rule, then it gives you a message. But so in that process, what happens? It puts some load on the application by way of, when you, what happens, right? So when, let's say, if I try to create a code combination like this, whatever, right? So whatever may be the code combination, I try to create this and click on, try to click on OK. Then application in the behind the scenes, application try to create this code combination. What does this mean is, it is going to put the load on the application. Okay, so if the product line, let's say from the previous example, the product or the department, whatever may be the scenario we discussed, right? Let's say if that shouldn't be used, then simply we have to restrict that. We have to restrict them in the value set itself. Okay, so that it reduces the dynamic, I mean, some extent of load on the application in the form of performance. Okay, so how do you do that? Let's see. Right, so where do you do that? You have to, you do on the value set, right? Manage chart of account value set, right? So what are the value sets which we have created, which I think which are iCore, and I think I have created with IC as the prefix, right? So these are all the value sets, right? Once you click on the value set, right? Can you see at the below there are certain other options as well. Key flex field usages, descriptive flex field usages, extensible flex field usages, value set usage, and related value sets. So this is the area which I was talking about, right? So let's say you are making, so let's say what we are going to define is uh, we are going to define a related what do you call the related value set security for the product along with the company, right? So what are the values that the company value set has? Let's see, right? 0, 1 and 0, 2. Right? These are my segment values under company. And similarly, we will be defining the uh, related value set security for the products. With these two combination, we will be defining the related value set hierarchy, the security concept, right? So let's go and list what are the values here. So what do you have? 0012 till 004, right? Right. So as part of this concept, what we will be doing is we will be defining in the value set saying that company one is going to be deal with all products from this list and company two is going to deal with all products in this list. That's it. Okay. So then what is the difference between the what is the advantage or pros and cons? What are the pros and cons while you're having defining with CBR, right? So once we define, we'll see, we'll understand how what is the complexity in having this related value set and how it is the CVR is more flexible. Okay, so basically in related value set concept, we will be defining which segment value of one company, one segment or value set is going to interact with which value of this value set. Okay, so it is kind of an establishing the relationship between the segment values to make them related. Okay, so let's say from this list, product line segment 1 and 2 are going to be deal with the company code 1 and product line segment, right? 3 and 4 are going to deal with the 0 to company code, right? So if I establish relationship in this way, right? This the in this chart of open structure, right? Wherever these value sets are used, these are the possible product combination that can be generated by any user or that can be used by the any user. Okay, so let's go and establish that relationship in the value set, right? So let me go here in the product, right? So in the related value set, just simply click on plus symbol, right? So what is the related value set code, right? So I'm just trying to relate the first. I'm trying to select the value set which I want to link this to, right? So product and company, I'm linking now these two value sets, right? Now simply click on save. Now we have to make an established relationship between the segment values of these two value sets, right? Company and product. So what does this value set contains? Company value set related to company is going to store the segment values of company. Similarly, product value set is going to store the segment values of product, right? So now we will be establishing the relationship here, right? Simply selecting which company is going to transact with which product line, right? So let's say what we discussed. So the 001 is supposed to be transact with, right? 01 and 001 again. Right, let me add the default segment as well for this company code. Right, this by establishing this relationship, we are saying to the system that the company code 001 is relatedly associated with these product segment values, right? So similarly, let's define the relationship for the other company code with the product segment as well. Right, from this list, I've made a distinction among my product segments saying that 1 and 2 are my company code 01 related and 3 and 4 are related to my second company code, right? Just simply save it, right? So save and close, right? This is how you have to establish a relationship among the value sets. Now, what is the impact that it will showcase, right? So before that, let me correct one thing. I was working on the value set as well. This was a related value set which I was trying to define for a different segment. So I've also tried to define a value set, related value set on the department segment as well, right? So it is more populated. I will search. Right. So So what we have done, we have established a relationship among the department as well as the product line. Just try to focus on the product line. Okay. So what was the relationship we established? Just to understand, not to confuse with the different setups, right? So just try to understand what was the relationship that we have established on the product line segment is. So the product company code 01 is going to deal with the product lines with 01 to 02, 002, and 002 company code is going to deal with the 003 and 004, right? So if this is how the related security concept is defined, right? How it is going to impact the on the front end, right? So while user is trying to post a journal, how it is visible, what is the impact of making this change, right? So once any change on this value set related things, you have to deploy your charter token structure. So you can see this, it is in deployment, is in edit status. Let it get deployed. We'll see. We'll try to create a journal. What is the change that the this setup brings in, and then I think we can better understand what is the difference between the CVR and this related value set security. Right. This is deployed. Right. So maybe I'll try to log out of logging back just to see the impact. Sometimes this change won't get comes into effect. Right. So right. So let me go into the application. Right. Let me try to create a journal. What is the impact? Right. So I'm trying to create a journal. Just select your adjustment, then try to select your combination, right? So we haven't defined any security, any related party relationship among the company and the account. That is the you can see all the expenses, right? So let me select one, and the department. If you see, only two segments I have added. So that's the reason you can see. But the primary one, what we discussed for the product, if you see here, can you see? These are the only three segments which were made as a related party relationship, right? So 01 company code with this, these are the product lines which we have defined as in related party value set values, right? So you can select any one of them. But were you able to see the other product segment values 3 and 4? No. Because why? Because this company code was in the value set, that was the relationship one to one or one to many relationship that we established, right? So we'll try to post a journal for this combination, and we'll try to see a different journal try to create for the 002 as well. What is the change that that segment brings in, right? So let me select any account, right? The product I have selected 001, not an issue. I can select anything. Right. So I'm able to select not only select, I'm able to see only the related segment values which are in for which we have established the relationship, right? So let me post this, try to come back to the journal form and see for this second company code, right? What was the product lines that I can see, right? Adjustments. And then I need to check for the second company, right? So let me select any account because I can see all the accounts from this segment value, and department I should see only one, right? Because this was the only one which was assigned for this segment. So I was testing this for before the session. There is a reason, right? So product line, if you see here, how many values you can see? 3 and 4, right? This is not specific to this change is not specific to the any user. Limiting the segment values based on the selection, right? On this product segment, limiting the values to 3 and 4 for company code 2 and 00000001 and 2 for the company code 1 are not specific to any specific user. It is applicable for at a structure level, chart of account structure level, wherever these value sets are going to be used. Remember, we have done this relationship establishment on the value set. It should be applicable for the what all the chart of account structure that gets created by using these value sets. Okay, so if what is the difference, right? What is the advantage if this is the case, right? So what is the advantage that you can see is it limits the user from selecting the segment values by populating the limits, restricting to specific segment values, right? The user cannot be able to select the other segment, irrelevant segment values, right? So it reduces the load on the application. First of all, it reduces the errors, right? So where the user will not be allowed to select the invalid code combinations or the code combinations which supposed to be restricted. That is one point, right? And the other would be, so let's say from the CVR, from the concept cross validation rules, right? When you define your cross validation rules, right? All the restricted segment values also used to be displayed in the list of value, right? As and when you select the irrelevant code combination and when try to click on OK, at that time it used to populate an error message behind the screen, right? So when does that error message comes into picture? When you click on OK. What happens when you click on OK? It application tries to create this code combination, right? So when the application is trying to create this code combination, it puts some effort to create that code combination. In return, it creates some load on the application. right? So to avoid such kind of situations, you can use the related party security concept. But what is the, as you have seen both the cases, right? As you have seen the both the functions, right? What is the advantage of having CVR and what is the disadvantages having defined related party security, right? Both are going to restrict the invalid code combinations, right? But when you are defining CVRs are easy to define. You just select the uh, two conditions. One is the condition and the other one would be your base and parameter, right? So based on the